honored today. Now, one of the things that I always like to check, Kimmy, is because I have to make sure that we are broadcasting live.
And direct.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear us? Can you see us? Are we communicating with you? It's Cheryl Grant with Fit Live, and we're ready to go live. But I need to know that you can hear us. I'm going to check Cheryl Grant Daily Motivations because, yeah, sure enough, there we are, Kimmy. And this is what I'm going to do. Um, It's so funny. I have to tell my dearest son, I love you so much. And mommy just wants to say that it's so much easier when I broadcast from Cheryl Grant platform. See more pages. It says see more pages. Hold on, Kimmy, because I like to make us go. I'm going to try this one more time. Hello, everybody. Bear with us. I have some great things in store for you. Oh my God. I can't wait to share with you. Yes. Thank you, Bridget, for telling me. Oh my God. Kimmy, if you're here in the Bay Area, you have to go to Proper Fashion. And I need to talk to you, Bridget, because I need some proper fashion in my life. I'm overdue and I miss you. Okay, I'm gonna see. Share to your page. You guys, I know I should, after all this time, I should really have it together. But here it goes. Welcome.
For 2020, this is all standard, and we got time. I'm trying to get my energy to match your energy. So
It's okay. You're fine, Kimmy. You're fine. You guys, I am so excited this evening to bring this amazing, amazing, amazing woman to you. And I'm going to introduce her in a moment, but I want to start off with just some little housekeeping details. First and always, I hope that we reach you in good spirits and good health. We are about to come to an end to 2020. I know a lot of us have been experiencing a lot of turmoil and tribulation, and I just want to send some positive energy out there. This platform is here to inspire, uplift, and educate you. So I want you to please invite a friend, tag somebody, tell them to come learn. They want to hear from this young, amazing, beautiful woman. She is doing amazing things in the world, and you want to hear about her. I want to start off by saying that Cheryl Grant Enterprises, this platform is really created as a place for entrepreneurs, women, and particularly women of color. I really wanted to create this platform because I wanted to highlight both the journey and the success stories of professionals and entrepreneurs of color. I wanted to explore the important and necessary information to help guide, inspire, encourage all aspiring business owners and professionals of color. We here at SGE plan to equip them with specific concrete examples, tools, tips, tricks to lead you toward your own successes, not only in business, but in life. And the question always comes up for Fit Live, are you ready to be fit? And fit, what is fit? Fit stands for faith, intuition, and tenacity. Faith is the ability to believe in what you can't see. It's your ability to trust your intuition to guide you to your next step or the next best step. And it's the tenacity to really have the willpower to go out and make it happen. Well, I have programs and classes to help you do that if you're not ready to get fit, but you're about to get a taste of what it means to be fit. The person I have in front of me, oh my God, I can say so much about. But Kimmy Paluch is the founder and managing partner of Beta Boom. It's a venture academy that invests in traditionally overlooked founders. Don't we need her? Providing them with a team of product, marketing, sales, and startup coaches that work alongside startups daily to jumpstart execution and development fundamentally strong founders and companies. Prior to Beta Boom, Kimmy founded a Silicon Valley innovation firm where she defined the strategic vision and design of award-winning interactive products for high-profile clients, including TiVo, Leapfrog, HubSpot. Currently, Kimmy sits on the executive leadership board for venturecapital.org, Women Entrepreneurs, and UN Ventures. She is also part of the leadership circle for the Conservation Lands Foundation. Kimmy earned her BA in computer science from Dartmouth College and an MBA from MIT Sloan School of Management. I want to say to everybody who is listening today, wherever you are, grab your notebook, grab a friend, grab your favorite beverage, because what I'm about to share with you is a game changer. I'm bringing to you the best of the best of the best. She can accelerate any entrepreneur to the next phase. So you want to know Kimmy Paluch. Wherever you are, please give her a warm welcome. Thank you, Kimmy, for being on board. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me, Cheryl. It's an honor to be here, and we need this platform, and I'm really, really honored to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you to be here. I've been talking to Kimmy for a while, and she and I were connected through a very amazing woman that we both love and adore, and her name is Marcia Nelson. Marcia is, I can't even describe Marcia. She's amazing.
The best super connector, the best enabler of people and women, and just an inspiration to so many of us, and just also an incredible mind when it comes to financial management. But beyond that, just an incredible person, leader, and inspiration in and of herself. Love her.
Yes, yes. Oh my God. It is because of her that I know Kimmy. I know Tara. I was invited to speak at the We Rock conference, and Kimmy was there holding down the fort as well. It was such an amazing experience. And by the way, everybody, Kimmy resides in Utah. And for those of you who don't know, Utah is considered the next Silicon Valley. They call themselves the Silicon Slopes. And I absolutely love it. And they truly are doing amazing things. Oh my God, Tara's on board. Hi, Tara. Oh my God, I can tell you a story, Kimmy, about me and Tara, but I'll save it. That's her and her special little thing, but she is another amazing, amazing powerhouse. And I just love her. So today, Kimmy, we're here to talk about you. And my audience needs to hear there are a lot of entrepreneurs, wantrepreneurs, sidepreneurs that are out in the world really looking to make their dreams come true. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about where you are and what you do. But before we do that, I think it's really important for them to get to know you. And I would love for you, Kimmy, to share why are you passionate about what you're doing, and how did you get to where you are?
Yeah, thanks, Cheryl. This has become my life mission. I think everybody talks about finding that passion and that thing that they want to, they dream about, they sleep up and think about it. I tell my founders, I'm a founder like them, and I found the reason to live and the reason that I want to work and spend time away from my kids to make a better world is the way that I look at it. So I grew up in Jamaica. I was one of the youngest of 5 girls. And I was a nerd all along. I was a math nerd first, and then I found computers. And that was what I wanted to be when I grew up. I said, I'm going to be an engineer. And that was kind of my guiding star. So I found my way to the States, did boarding school, then Dartmouth, as you mentioned, had my degree and moved straight to the Bay Area because it's like, that's where you're going to go. That's where you build your career as an engineer. And I ended up with a very wayward path. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I had a hard time getting hired as an engineer. And I think it was because I didn't look like an engineer. I wasn't that person that would be a cultural fit for a lot of the startups and companies I was interviewing to be a part of. At the time, I didn't think it was that. I said, there's something wrong with me and I need to be better. I even started going to night school and getting certifications for degrees and things. When I already had an honors degree, I could code, but I said there was something that I had to be better and I had to get better. But what I ended up doing was carving my own path in tech. And so I ended up starting my firm about 23 years old, maybe 24, and started, basically I started on the management side of engineering, and that was the path that I took. So I've been helping develop engineering teams. But the thing that really hit me, I reached another turning point in my career, and I started to look back at that time, and I really realized that I wasn't alone. And then I started looking at the numbers, and the numbers hadn't changed. The numbers were getting worse. And when you looked at who was getting funding, who were the startups that were getting featured on major platforms, none of them really looks like me. And I said, you know what? That experience was not a standalone. And the data shows that there is something systemic wrong. And that was my waking up moment. And I said, I can continue to be in this a cog in this wheel. I continue to be working on my own startups, working on my my firm that I was running at the time, or I could try and be a part of the change. And that's when I was like, I could do something bigger and better outside of the things that I was working on. So I left the Bay Area. I moved to Salt Lake City. Because of what they've said, this is true. This is one of the #1 business economies in the US, and it's proving to be a powerhouse when it comes to technology. But we also have a ways to go when it comes to making sure that we're inclusive and making sure that women are earning the same amount as a man is earning here, and making sure that we're seeing female entrepreneurs rise to the top. And so I said, I wanted to focus outside of the Bay Area. The Bay Area has its issues, but if you look at rising tech cities, they're following the same pattern that was set by the Bay Area. So that was the purpose. That's why we started Beta Boom. And we knew that we could do something different from what everybody else was doing, that we could better unlock these founders that are being overlooked, that are underestimated and always written off, because we knew that we were those founders, and that we knew that we could help them to overcome those access gaps that they face. And it is access gaps. It is a nurturing that needs to happen to make sure that we get to change those numbers, that we don't have to keep seeing these systems repeat themselves. So that is my passion. That is why we exist. And any founder listening, reach out to me. We want to see more founders of color, female founders, veteran founders, everybody that's been overlooked and written off. We are for underdogs, and that's why I exist.
Well, I want to say thank you for that. And, you know, the one thing that we do know, and we talk about this, and it's so blatant for any underrepresented class, especially women of color, that there is despairing differences. There truly is not a breeding ground that really is out there supporting us in our entrepreneurial efforts. Whereas, and we could just be blunt between you and I, Kimmy, being a woman of color, I can come to a VC with being a white woman coming to a VC with an idea, or a white male to a VC with an idea. They're more than willing to support them, provide them the marketing activities, the sales activities, the funnel, the team, everything in place, and give them the money for an idea. Mm-hmm. For us, it's like we can't just come to the table. We have to prove ourselves. We have to have a proven track record, and we have to overcome all these hurdles. And it really is time for us to transition that. And what I really love about everything that you're doing is because you're entering in a space where there's not many of you.
No, there isn't. And I think that also that gives us a superpower, because I'm facing the same thing our founders are facing. You know, we have to raise funds too in a usually by a system, and one that has not been designed to let people like me into the room. So I definitely relate to the story, and I do think it's going to take everybody to solve this. What we need to realize is that this is everybody's problem. You know, we are missing out on so many opportunities as a society when we write off people that don't look like us, or when we cut people out of opportunities. And so, you know, you mentioned the problem, and it is true. Like we were talking previously that, you know, Black women are starting businesses at the fastest rate than any other demographic right now. Yet the numbers are terrible or getting worse. So Black females are raising from venture capital 0.5%, and Blacks altogether, Black people raise 1%. And then female founders are getting 2.8%. Those numbers are minuscule, and they have not changed over time. And the only thing that can explain that is systemic bias. And so how do we change the system? That was what I had to ask myself. And part of that for me was going on the other side of the table. Part of me was really saying, like, I can make a bigger change if I can get onto the investor side and start to move capital in a different direction and start to change those patterns. Because the fact is, the data is there. People will point to this and say, it's a data problem. These are a risky class of founders to invest in. And that's just terribly untrue. The data shows that women return higher on the dollar and that diverse teams return higher on the dollar. So part of this is, again, we need to look at ourselves and say, what can we do? We need to recognize the problem. And I talked to our founders about that. Because unfortunately, these systems haven't changed in a while. So we have to learn how to navigate them and use the networks that we have and see how we can overcome them. But everybody has to be a part of this. It can't just be women. It can't just be women of color. It needs to be everyone. We need our male allies. We need people who are already at the table advocating that we continue to push capital and push opportunities in this direction.
Everything that you said is just so true, and it just resonates with me on so many different levels. But what I also heard and what I love is that it really is going to take a village. This is not a slingshot approach. It's about a re-education. And what I heard you saying in large volumes is that we need to start stating our case, not from the standpoint of we don't need sympathy. This is an economic decision, and we are powerful. We don't need to be apologetic for the strengths that we bring to the table. I do think we need to re-educate so that people understand that there is power when you invest in women-led companies, and especially, I'm going to say, Black women. I'm going to say that over and over again, because being a Black woman, I'm also, like you, looking for funding to launch what I think is going to be the revolutionary next big thing, because I'm bringing to you entrepreneurs that are listening, people like Kimmy that can bring value to help you to navigate, to know where to go, to get the resources and tools. And one of the things that I found, I serve on the board for the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce. And one of the things that we found in going back to our community, we were not getting any of the PPE money that was being distributed. And that just would fall back into how the system is set up already, how the system is not set up in our favor. But also, just if I can just be blatantly honest with everybody out there, that we have to get our act together too. And what do I mean by get our act together? For those of us who are already entrepreneurs that are out in the world doing things, you want to make sure that your books are in order. You want to make sure your financials in order. Do you have a business plan? Do you understand your profit and loss statement? Do you understand, your business, the intricate details of your business? Because going to somebody, especially if you're interested in VC or any kind of additional funding, they're going to need that documentation. And so one of the things I love about what Kimmy does is she really is about helping to make sure that you're prepared when you do enter into those circles. So I want to say that. I also want to say that, Kimmy, you talked about women of color. Do you know that there are over 1,800 businesses that are started today? And do you know of those 1,800 businesses that are started today, 89% of them are by women of color? So that means when you say we're leading the charge, I just wanted to put the numbers in place so you guys can get a real picture of what we're leading the way. But we're bootstrapping.
Yeah.
We are funding our own businesses, which is not a sustainable model. We need help. And it's okay to ask for help. It's the right thing to ask for help. And Kimmy, I want you to share with the audience, what is Beta Boom? What do you do?
Yeah, so we're a pre-seed fund. What that means is, so we're in the venture capital space. We make investments in businesses, but we don't just put capital in. What we recognize is we have to be very active money. So we're not just putting money in and then saying you're on your own and we'll make a few connections for you. We are very, very hands-on. So we make our investments and then we work with our founders every day for 6 months to help make sure that they get their books in order, like you said, get their ducks in a row. But it's not just to be ready for investment money, it's really setting them up for success. And what that means for us is focus on the areas of the business, especially at that earliest stage, that are going to make the biggest difference, that are going to create a strong foundation. And so we work on product, marketing, sales, fundraising, yes. But that element is really to just keep fueling the business. And so when we talked to founders before we started, what we were hearing is that a lot of the programs that were out there were essentially just trying to dress up their businesses and get them a deck by the end and then put them in front of investors. And that's not what we're about. What we're about is making sure that those founders can tear down all the gaps in front of them. So we have a group of startup coaches and then operational experts, and they will work alongside our founders every day to both extend their capacity to execute in the near term, but then make sure that they are building the skills that they need going forward. And then obviously afterwards, we become fierce advocates for our founders. We know that just because we've invested in them doesn't mean they're going to not continue to face hurdles and gaps as they go through their journey. So we're fierce advocates for them. We're making connections. We're helping them just cross all of the hurdles that they need to cross. And that's what we're about. So we're super, super hands-on to make sure that our founders can really succeed in the long term. And I just want to quickly touch on the investment side of things. I think there is a narrative of one way to fuel your business. Yes. And that's one thing that we've definitely fleshed out, is to basically look at fundraising from your full landscape, because it's not just investor equity dollars that are an option. There are a slew of them, and it's finding the right times to do the different things that can keep your business going. But we always keep revenue first. Let's make sure that you can actually build the business. We are focused on software. So even a lot of our founders are non-technical founders. And this is where we're seeing that there are gaps in terms of what other programs can do, is we're working with our founders who could be non-technical to make sure that they're managing their products development process, that they can ask the right questions and work in an agile framework. It's all the things that we know that founders are being written off for, but we know that if they have a strong foundation, if they have domain expertise, if they're gritty, which they always are, if they have the hustle, all those other things we can build internal capacity for. And that is what our program is designed to do and what our investments are intended to do.
Wow, you guys, that is amazing. Like if you're ready and you really want to set yourself up for success and you're looking for funding, then you need to reach out to Miss Kimmy Paluch, and you want to tell her so that she can help you understand how best to get in the cycle. And we'll be giving her contact information shortly, but she's giving you the tools. She's giving you the gems. Are you taking notes? Are you writing it down? Did you call somebody and ask them to join in? You know, we often ask about how do we pivot and how do we level up? So when people are bringing you content like this and bringing you valuable information, it's only as good as you use it. So if you're not here rallying behind the troops, tagging a friend, we tag them on anything else that goes viral. You need to tag them on this. This is your business. This is how do you survive in this new economy? How can you come out better than you entered it? And I am getting some questions on my cell phone. And I want to tell my people who have my number, put your questions into the chat because I'm trying to concentrate and I want to make sure, but they're valuable questions. So
can I say one thing before we go to questions?
Sure.
I want to talk, there is a value in community. And I do think that we need to work together. We do our investments in cohorts, and there is a positive thing about finding your tribe and finding the resources and the people that are going to lift you up and not tell you can't do it, because there are many people that are going to tell you can't do it. Find your tribe, find your community, find where you can get that information. And for more than information, it's the people that unlock our potential. And so find that tribe. Cheryl has provided an incredible platform here, but there are incredible people who can point you in the right direction. You are not alone. You do not have to do this alone. It's already a hard enough journey. Don't do it alone.
Oh my God, Kimmy, that was so valuable. That was just plain and basic, because a lot of times we are around people just because they didn't come up with your idea doesn't mean that your idea is not good. And sometimes people base their decisions on where they are. You need to go and find the community that can help you to manifest what God has already placed in your heart. So I think that that was very valuable information. And one of the best things that I could have ever done was surround myself around the Marcias and the Taras and the Kimmys of the world, because they call me and they support me and they believe in me. And it's not just lip service. They're there to support me. They're putting me on stages. I'm talking to people. I'm talking to investors. We're looking, and Kimmy serves on the board for Capital.
Venturecapital.org.
Capital, thank you, Kimmy. And I'm looking, they do something called the We Rock conference, and I'm talking to her board members and the chair to bring that here to Oakland, so that you know how to present. How do you prepare to pitch? How do you prepare to pitch to a VC? Do you know? If not, that's where they come in. It's about how can you learn to the tools and techniques that you need in order to be successful. And there is a method to this madness. There is a way that we have to play the game, at least in having the conversation. And you need to be as prepared as possible. That was spot on. One of my girlfriends, Kimmy, and I really want to say this one out loud, because it's one of those things that it touches my heart. So first of all, I want to say to my audience, I support all women. All women. I'm going to say that one more time. I support all women. My passion happens to be for women of color, because we don't have access. And it doesn't, and the numbers are there to support it. We've already gone over that. But it's not to say that I don't support women. I have one of my friends who is Caucasian, and she just asked the question, where do I go get help? Because I need help too. Mm-hmm. And I want to say to her, you came to the right place, boo. Because the tools and resources that we're talking about are not gender specific. They're not race specific. They're not any of that. We're just talking to a community that doesn't get access to this information. But you're a part of my community and you're a part of my tribe. And so as being a part of that, this information is here for you too. So I don't know if you want to add to that at all.
I do. I want to speak specifically to her. I'm your tribe too. We are for all underestimated founders. And I mentioned the female founder number to 2.8%. 2.8. That was at a high. We were actually dipped in the last quarter in terms of capital allocation. So we're going in the wrong direction. So you are definitely a part of my tribe. And I will say I'm about melting pots. Like I mentioned, I'm from Jamaica. I think there's a beauty with cultures mixing, with different perspectives mixing. And that's how we run our programs. So we are absolutely inclusive in how we invest. But we are looking and especially leaning toward those who have been underestimated. And that includes all women. That includes people that are in geographies that are written off because they're not tech hubs. That includes immigrants. That includes veterans. So you are not excluded. And we all need to lift each other up. So in our last cohort, we had 4 women. It was a women's academy. 3 of those women were African-American. 1 was Caucasian. The beauty of that interaction was amazing. We experienced George Floyd's murder together. We cried together. We lifted each other up, and we shared our networks. And the love that's between those women is incredible. They're helping each other, sending resources from their different geographies. It's incredible when we can help support each other, and when we do it in a way of an abundant mindset. It doesn't mean because one Black woman rises that a Caucasian woman has to fall. We can rise together. And I shared with Cheryl, this week is very special for me, and the timing is wonderful. I just attended the All Raise VC Summit. And All Raise it has the same mission to basically get all of us to raise funding and all of us to start to change the numbers and the disparities that should not exist in our industry. And that was part of the story, is like, we need to be sharing the information, sharing our connections, and being sponsors of each other, and also pulling in male allies so that we can all help each other out, because this is everybody's problem. Our economy, this is a $4.4 trillion opportunity in America that we're missing out every single year. How can we say that we are the top country if we are wasting opportunities and purposefully cutting people out when we know we can be solving critical issues, poverty, healthcare, all of the things that we struggle with. If we actually solve them and funded some of the businesses that are being created by these underestimated founders, we would be so much further along as a society, as an economy. Investors could make more money. We could see more populations rise. So I'm with you. We need your innovation. You're not alone. We do this together.
Oh my God, Kimmy, I couldn't have said that any better. And thank you, because I think sometimes even in my platform that I'm unapologetic for it, but I think it's important for people to know. And it is about cross collaboration. It is about building community. It's about working with like minds. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like minds. We can do more together than we can do individually. And I believe in that melting pot too that you were speaking of. My stepmother is Caucasian. My brother is half Caucasian. My nieces are half Caucasian. So I mean, I'm all for that, all for that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And you can text me, Queen, and let me know if that answered your question, okay? Because I want to make sure you're taken care of too. I want to make sure everybody's taken care of. And this is really, truly, we have an expert. She deals with startups all the time. So this is what Kimmy does. So please ask questions. And Kimmy, if there's in between those, you want to share something, please do. I did get a question from Tara. I'm going to put it back on the screen. And it says, Kimmy, I love her. Kimmy, anyway, okay. So Tara said, Kimmy, what points about startup business help build credibility with investors? And what lends business strength? Great question, Tara.
Yes, Sam. Yeah, and again, I'm focused at the earliest stages. So some of what we look at are more, there are areas that later stage investors might dig into more. For us, data is more scarce because we are dealing with companies that might be a year in, they don't maybe aren't generating as much revenue, but everybody wants to see that. And it's kind of a frustrating thing, a chicken and an egg, because everybody wants to see traction. They want to know that you've proven out some part of your idea, that there is something there in the business that they can see is going to be a massive opportunity that's been proven in the market. So whether that is user growth, if it's actually just seeing that you're able to acquire customers at a very low cost, if it's just fervent love of your brand, there needs to be something that investors can look at and say, well, I see the seed of something that can be huge. So that is an important piece. But to come back to the earliest stages, everybody will tell you team is the most important thing. And I do believe that's true. I think there's biases in some of these systems when they talk about how they evaluate teams. But for us, we're always looking for founders that are fully tied to the problem that they're solving, because this is a hard journey and it's easy to give up. So having that, what you asked me at the beginning, what's your purpose, the passion, and showing that you have the credibility in that space to solve that problem is hugely important. And then the team dynamics, is there cohesion? Are you all on the same page? Like, how long have you worked together? But more importantly, like, are you able to, take feedback and criticism, and how do you move those things forward are supremely important. And then Cheryl mentioned this. I think, there's an element, and some of this also is just inspiring founders to believe and be confident. It is true in the way that you're able to speak about your business and your market. If you're fully confident and able to just speak through all of the competitive space, the opportunity, why you're different, those things resonate and go miles with investors, because they want to believe that you see something that other founders don't, that you have a full grasp of your business. And that includes the numbers that are behind them. That includes all of the competition, what they're doing, and where you see your strength. So those things are important. We break our kind of thing down into the 5 T's. So team, the size of the opportunity, which is the TAM, the tech. So is there something special about what you're actually doing? The timing, which a lot of investors get wrong. And then, I'm forgetting my 5th one. And then there's a 6th one we look at, is just terminal value. Like, where do we see this opportunity, and will it provide the returns that we think? So
it's team, time, tech.
TAM, which is the total addressable market. So that's the market size. And
Okay.
traction, of course, I mentioned it before, traction. So how much have you actually been able to prove out the market?
Team, TAM,
Timing.
timing. I'm writing this down, you guys, so you could take notes. If you're not, I'm doing this right now. Should have had somebody do it in the notes for me, but that's okay. Team, TAM, market size, timing,
Traction.
traction.
Yeah. You said tech. Tech, you can swap out for products if you're doing a non-technical product.
Okay. Tech or product. No, I think it's really important, you guys. I'm all about taking notes because you can go back and listen to this, and I might have spelled timing wrong. I'm sorry, you guys. I think I did. I'm sorry about that. But I think you can go back and listen to this later. But the most important thing is that you're taking notes so that you understand how to better prepare your business. We're entering into a new paradigm. And I'm of the mindset, Kimmy, that while I know capitalism is real, but it is a thing that's America, right? That's California. I'm in America. It's just who we are. But I also believe that we're entering into a new paradigm, and I believe in a new cultural currency. And I believe that the cultural currency that we're moving into is really about community. And community is everything. And one of the things you talked about earlier was building your tribe. One of the things you talked about earlier, or even right now, was what is your team? How strong is your team? One of the things you talked about now is, I guess those are the two, tribe and community is your team. And I just think that those things are so valuable. And I think they're really overlooked. And people don't understand, or I want them to understand. Let me say that they're not, because maybe some do, but I want them to understand the value of community. Do you have anything to add to that, or any different stance on what I just said?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I think communities are what move mountains. That's how movements are created. So when we think about changing anything or accomplishing anything, it's usually not done alone. And so that is the power of things. And in general, businesses are being driven by communities. You're able to capture full markets if people love you enough. You know, like Slack has basically taken over the communication platform because they are building communities. We're seeing VC funds being created on top of communities. We're seeing just the power of change, of business, of propelling individual ideas through community. So I think it's in multiple layers. We're going to keep seeing that being very important. And when you just think about the brands that have lasted really long, this is not new to business. Like if you are able to be loved and to have someone, a group that is behind you enough and they find connection through your brand, those ones last long. So yeah, I think it's in everything we do. I think there's a power on the personal side of things. Think how much people are able to do together that you could not have done alone. And that's the part that I love, and I love that it's actually bleeding into business and that we're recognizing how important that is. It's how we see change and progress.
Awesome. Well, I think you're spot on, and everything that you're saying. Well, Kimmy, we've talked about all the power and what you need to do to be prepared. And again, for those that are listening, please do tag a friend. Please do take notes. Let us know what you're doing. Is this feeding you? Is this hitting a point as you being an entrepreneur? Are these things that are really resonating with you? But I want to talk to you now. I want to pivot just a little bit. And this is the pivot that I want to do. I look at a lot of businesses that are not going to survive this pandemic. And a lot of them are searching and looking for ways in which to reinvent themselves. And I know that you see people who have done things maybe that could have done it differently to survive. Any recommendations or insights that you can share with those that are struggling?
Yeah. Trust your gut, and you know your business better than anyone, but it is important to get others' advice. So trusted advisors help. There was one person that I heard speak on this topic, and he said that in this time, especially for startups, yes, anything that was off the table before, put it back on the table, because you need to reevaluate your business entirely in order to this is a very, very unprecedented time, and this kind of shock I hopefully we don't see too much, but it is a part of business. Like we go through bull and bear markets, highs and lows, and being able in these times to look critically at your business and say, do we need to make a complete shift? And how do we do that? Are we equipped to do that? And basically, I think brainstorming and bringing your team together to figure out how to get through those. There are some that are in just extremely difficult markets and have to make really tough decisions, like cutting pay, cutting staff, and those are the hardest things to do as a business owner. Sometimes you have to hope to win the next day, live for the next day. And so honestly, the ones that have done it well are just scrappy and doing whatever it takes. This is a back against the wall kind of situation. I do think going back to community, reaching out to people, sometimes you need to ask for help just to get through this time. And if you can make the argument for the vision of your future past this blip in time, you can get that help. And if you can realize what you need to do as your business with your business in order to overcome it, you have to do it even if it's a tough decision. So I don't know, with every different market, I'd probably say different things. Some people are seeing tailwinds, some are hitting really big headwinds. I've seen people acquire and merge just to make sure that they have the ability to weather storms together. I think those are beautiful opportunities. And then, things that we've done, we've started grant programs to start to address this. So here in Utah, we started a grant program for Black female founders, and we partnered with three other organizations to do that. Again, we shouldn't be working in silos. What can we do together, and how do we meet this time? How do we help ourselves and our business? But then look to your neighbor, because as bad as you may have it, a neighbor may have it worse. And so I've seen beautiful things where one of our founders, who was already running low on her runway, won a competition, and she gave some of her winnings to another pitch participants because she's like, she really needs this too. So I think we need to look inward and say, how do I get through this? But let's not also get too trapped in because people have it worse. As bad as we think we are, that others are worse. Anyway, but for the business part of things, there's no single answer, and that's with everything. There's no single answer of how to grow your business. There's no single answer of how to overcome these things. It's adapting, and we have to basically put every option on the table and evaluate what's the way that we get through now, and then what do we do? Because the next step is important too.
Oh my God, that was so powerful. Kimmy, you are amazing. I told you guys, I told you I was bringing to you an amazing resource. And she is. One of the things that I really love, and we still have some time here, but Kimmy, I love what I do. I love it with all of my heart. I tell you, every single interview I've ever done, it seems like the time just flies by. And there's so much that I really want to do a deep dive in. But that's okay. I have your number, and I know how to get I will track you down. I will find you. But one of the things that I want to say to the audience, as entrepreneurs, I think me, at least speaking for myself, Kimmy, I think it was one of the boldest things that I've ever done in my life. And I think, I don't think I know, it took me out of my comfort zone. And there are days that I ask, oh my God, are you crazy? What did you do? And then there are days like this, and I just remind myself I'm walking in my life's passion, and this is what I was born to do. So I'm really excited about that. I know that as entrepreneurs, we all have obstacles in which we need to overcome. It's a part of the journey. And as an entrepreneur, you got to have a tough skin, and you have to be in it for the long haul, and really, truly not allow yourself to be dissuaded by the bumps in the road, because it's so easy to get discouraged. So for anybody that's out there that is discouraged, I think one of the best advices that Kimmy gave us was to link up with other people, broaden your tribe. And if your tribe isn't feeding you and you walk away feeling less than, it's time to develop a new tribe. It's time to develop a tribe that will feed into you and inspire you and share resources with you and show you how to navigate in these difficult times. And so I really want to encourage you to do that. But I also know, Kimmy, you too, doing the work that you do, you too need things. So how can we support you?
Yeah. I need investors too. So anybody where this might resonate with them, reach out to me. And we're always looking for collaborators too. I mentioned the grant that we're doing. We're doing a similar one in Chicago. And I hope to bring this to other regions. So if that resonates with anyone, right now for Utah, like I said, it was for Black female founders. We hope to continue to do that and to broaden that for all underestimated founders. Because like I said, I love the melting pot. So if that resonates with anybody, reach out. We're always looking for people that want to work with founders. We can tie you to the right resources, experts that are, if you have a specific area of expertise in product, marketing, and sales, and you want to help a founder, please reach out to me. We'd love to talk to you and see if there are ways that we can plug you in. And just in general, I think I'm always looking for more collaboration. The other thing is, it doesn't stop with us. Like I said, we're always advocating after. So the downstream investors, I just had a great conversation with one this week. We're always looking for those as well, because as much change as I can make, we need also the downstream to also change. We need all investors to start to realize this opportunity and start to move capital in this direction, because that's the only way that we're going to make sure that these companies continue to reach that next level, like you said, Cheryl. So yeah, I'm always looking, if you're in a position of privilege and you want to wield that privilege for change, reach out to me in whatever way, because that is the only way. We have to do this together, and there's power in us combining forces. That's what I'm doing with my privilege right now, is I can use this time, my position, to help those in that may not have it.
And let me tell you, I'm partnering with her. I'm sticking to her like white on rice. I'm all team Kimmy. And so one of the things I also wanted to talk about, Kimmy, you've had some major successes. I just read an article. I don't even think it's been a week ago, that one of the businesses that went through your program just received like $2.5 million or some number like that. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, she's an incredible founder. It's Amanda Do Amaral. Her company's Fiveable. She's in the edtech space. Incredible, incredible founder. When I talk about grit and hustle, she's all of that. She was a teacher in Oakland.
Yeah.
Oakland. And she was teaching AP.
One of us.
AP history. Yep, my old hometown.
Yes.
She was teaching AP history as a Teach for America teacher, got burnt out in the classroom. We know the hard journey that teachers have to take to educate our children. And when she left the classroom, her students kept coming to her and saying, we still need you to teach us. And she cobbled together a platform, not from a tech background, not in the startup world, but she wanted to help her students. And so she cobbled together a platform to teach kids wherever they were. So when she came to us, she was only 6 months into her business. Actually, I think it was less than that, 3 or 4 months. But she'd already done so much with so little. And we're like, she's the archetype of our founder. And so we invested in her, we worked with her. She did everything. She created a house, and all of her workers and her were in one place, her co-founders, working together. But yeah, she's had incredible success. And these are the kinds of founders that I would like to see more of. And these are the stories that I'd love to see on magazines. And those are the ones that are going to inspire the next generation. But female founder of color, now in Wisconsin, incredible success, has great investors behind her. And I think it was all that spark. And it's all her grit and hustle. And it's, again, talking about how do you evaluate a team? It's not about pedigree and what school you went to or where you live. Those things are not indicators of the success. What we saw was a teacher who knew her space, who had incredible success teaching students and surpassing the national average, by the way, and did everything to basically create a platform. Everything else can be added. She didn't have a CTO yet. She got a CTO. She built this platform, is getting kids to pass at incredible rates off of this platform, and has created the #1 social learning platform now in the US. So incredible success. I'm excited that we were part of her journey. A lot of it is her, and then she's incredible, like I said. But yes, we are seeing some successes, and there's so many more Amandas out there. There's so many more. You are probably one of them listening now. So don't give up. Don't let people tell you no. Don't let people judge you for anything, because if you have the problem, if you have the hustle, if you know you can do something better than everybody else is doing, let that drive you and let that be your North Star.
Oh my God. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sitting over here. My legs are shaking. I'm just so excited. One, just to have you here to share this information, that this valuable information that those that are out there that are entrepreneurs need to know. And so, Kimmy, how do people get in touch with you? What is the best way? What's your website?
It's betaboom.com, betaboom.com. I'm on Twitter. It's my first and last name. Sorry, I have a hard last name, but at Kimmy Paluch. And I'm on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn's are usually open. So if you want to reach out to me that way, happy to reach and respond to those as well.
So one of the things that I really take great pride in, Kimmy, is that my platform and the technology company that you're well aware of that I'm building is all about connecting the dots. This is a prime example of connecting the dots. You don't know what you don't know, but when you can go to a resource where you know you can get valuable information, and that information can be passed on to you with people who are truly credible in their field. They have a history, they have a track record, they're doing it. They're not talking about doing it, she's actually living it. And you're an entrepreneur and you need some help. It's okay to reach out. You know, a closed mouth never gets fed. My brother tells me that all the time. A closed mouth never gets fed. So if you need something, you need to ask. And if you don't know, you need to ask. And that's how you find out. And it's attending events or coming to my platform where you can learn about these amazing resources. My network is so vast and it's so strong. And I'm so grateful for everybody who's a part of it, including those of you who are listening. So this queen right here is somebody you want to know. She's a force to be reckoned with. Did we talk about Tara? Tara, you're on my mind, by the way. I asked you a question. Did we talk at all about the conference you just went to? I know we briefly.
Yeah, I said it always. I did.
Okay.
Talk a little bit about that. Yeah,
Okay.
and they have when founders meet funder, which has been transformative for some founders. So
Right.
definitely, it's a way to have access. If you're early in your days, talk to as many people as you can. I really don't believe in stealth. Tell everybody, because the more you can pitch, the better you will be when you start going for investment. But beyond that, you can sell your vision and have people follow you and join your business and become your customers. So tell everybody and go to all of these events where you can talk to investors, you can talk to potential advisors, because it is transformative to just keep pitching and refine your story.
Right. So if you had to give some advice today, what would you, I mean, you've said so much but I know you're full of I know, Kimmy, you have a lot. And wait a minute, before you answer that question, I have another question to ask. I'm going to pivot again, but I want to keep that question. So I know you won't let me forget that. So what are the mistakes that you find that most people make that my audience should avoid?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we talked about that, but can you share?
We didn't. I think the number one is not knowing what the journey is. And again, we keep hearing stories of overnight successes. And even I think it was Jeff Bezos said every overnight success took 10 years. And I remember there were lots of stories where you see these rise from nowhere. Those founders usually took forever to build to that moment. So I think just knowing is a big part of the battle, that this is going to be a grueling journey. It is absolutely a marathon. And so just be prepared for as long as you think it might be, it may be longer, and ask yourself, are you willing? Is this the problem? Is this the thing that you can be completely obsessed with for 10 plus years? Because that's how long it takes. So that I think is the biggest thing. And that's the thing, knowing is half the battle, right? So knowing how hard it is to fundraise, knowing how hard it is to get that first customer is the biggest battle. And I think the founders that don't realize it and it doesn't really sink in yet, those are the ones that the failure comes faster, because you just weren't mentally prepared for that. I think that's the biggest thing, to just steel yourself.
Well, you heard it from Kimmy. That's called being mentally fit. Faith, intuition, and tenacity. Faith, intuition, and tenacity. I speak it so much, sometimes it just rolls off, my tongue, but there's really a lot of value in the word of being fit. And a lot of people, Kimmy, think when I say fit, I'm speaking of physical fitness. It's truly a play on words, although I'm a firm believer in being physically fit.
Yeah.
But before you can get there, you have to be mentally fit. You have to be mentally fit in your mind. You have to be ready for the journey. And it's just like right now, we've been going through this pandemic, and I often wonder, what are you telling yourself? How have you been? If you had to put yourself on a scorecard, I have my clients do this. Have you ever heard of the wheel of life?
No.
Well, the wheel of life is like a pie. And basically, it's divided or like a pizza. In every area, it goes with your career, it goes with your social life, it goes with your home environment, it goes with your physical, it goes with your career. And you rank yourself basically from 0 to 10 in each of those categories. And as you go around the pendulum, the pie, you can actually see where you reside. And it's very important that you take a mental note of where you are so that you know where you're going. And when those areas are, maybe they don't rank as high as a 10, what do you need to adjust in order to get there? And I think our journey truly is a reflection of us. You can do anything you want. And people, I'm not selling you a pipe dream. I'm telling you the truth. The question is, do you believe? Because if you don't believe, then there's nothing that we could do to help convince you. So, but if you believe, I can tell you, biblically speaking, the Bible says, and you don't have to be religious to believe this. If you believe, if you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, and a mustard seed is very small, and you say to a mountain, move, it has to move. You have to have that kind of faith. You got to believe in yourself like no other, but you also have to be willing to take constructive feedback, not negative feedback, but constructive feedback, just so that you can continue to pivot and change so that you can sharpen your skills to be the best. So when you go in front of those investors, you can give them everything you got because you've done the work, and you don't have to walk away feeling apologetic at all. And if you don't meet the first no, just always remember this: a no is never a no. It just may be a no right now. So you continue on till you find the next one. Am I correct, Kimmy? Am I telling you?
Correct. I actually write that down in our fundraise. It's like, not right now. And that's the truth, because it is a timing matter. And people that tell you no one day, it may be the right time at another time. So I like that perspective. And it is a great balancing act. I love that you made this broader. Like, this is being a founder is one of the hardest things you can choose to do. Like, everybody tells you, if you want to be rich and that's all your goal, maybe this isn't the path for you, because it's not about that. It's like some greater purpose that is driving you, that you know you can invent something that nobody else is going to do, and it needs to exist in the world. And so I like thinking about that as a whole. Like, we are now beginning to realize how important mental fortitude and wellness is. And I agree with you, it's mental, it's physical, but we need to ask ourselves, are we really doing the right thing? This is a balancing act, and we can move mountains, but sometimes you need to take breaks. Sometimes you need to just check in and make sure that you're doing the right things for your family, for yourself, because this is a marathon. And if you burn yourself out too fast, you won't get to the end. And so I love that idea. I love the wheel. I'm going to have to try that exercise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have one. I could definitely send it to you. And the thing about it is, Kimmy is also, she didn't mention this, and I think she'll be okay with me. She's a mommy too.
I
So
am.
she has little one. You have one, Kimmy?
I have 2 boys, 9 and 7. And so a case in point is last weekend, they told me, and my husband, we do this together. I mean, we're life and work partners, but he's like, you guys are always on calls. You're always working. And so we put it aside and we did a movie night with our family, because that was important for them. We turned off the computers for the weekend. So yeah, it's hard to juggle sometimes, especially now with COVID. They see everything, especially when we're at home, and it can be challenging. And so it's tough, but mommies, I feel you. You can do this.
Absolutely. And I agree with you 100%. I had last week a very, very dear friend who's running for city council at large. His name is Derek Johnson. Please do vote for my boy, Derek. But Derek was on, and my grandbaby was here. And I felt so bad, but it was like, I'm sorry, people, I gotta go get my grandbaby. She's crying. I can't let her. But it's a beautiful thing. She did a great cameo appearance. So it was really a beautiful thing. So now I'll go back to my question to you. If you could give one last piece of advice to the audience that's listening down in their entrepreneurial journey, what would that be?
The first thing that comes to mind is there is no single path to success. There is no single path to success. You are going to chart your own path. The biggest thing is to educate yourself of the paths that other people have taken and choose your own. It's not a one size fits all. This is extremely hard. Chart your own path. You've started on it and you can decide where it goes. So don't let anybody else decide it for you.
Oh my God. You guys, was she not amazing? If anybody missed it, please do share it. Go ahead and type their name in the link. And please do. I've left her website up on the note so you can see it. It's www.betaboom.com. I really am looking forward to partnering with her. And Kimmy, you will see me do a lot of things with her. I believe in aligning myself with tribes that think like I do. And she's been supportive of me since day one. And I'm so fortunate. And if you too follow through, you too will be very fortunate to know this amazing, amazing resource. I want to say thank you to everybody who's been really chiming in and supporting me at Fit Live. We have so much in store for you. You guys don't even know. We are about to flip the script. But the beautiful thing is all for you. It's all about how do I create the best platform so you get the best information to be your most amazing self. And this is just the beginning of greater things to come. Please do type in if this was valuable for you. Let us know. We want to keep this up. We have more to come. I want to say that I too am an entrepreneur. I don't do this. I wish I could do it for free. And I do provide it to you as a service for free. But please do support me. You can support me by donating. And you can go to www.Cheryl, SHERYL, Grant, grant.com to support me. I want to say, please support Kimmy. If you are a person out there and you have those investment dollars available, she is out here supporting underrepresented women, and we need her. We need her more now than ever. I'm 100% supporter, and anything that I can do. When I get my funding, I'm giving you some, Kimmy, because you deserve it. Absolutely. We are a team. We're going to do this together. Like you said, there's an old African proverb that says you want it, and you've said it, and I've said it, but I'm going to say it again. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Create your tribe, build your team, get with like minds so that you too can have the most amazing business. I am committed to ending 2020 with a bang. I am committed to entering into 2021 better than I ended or started in 2020. And I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. So let's go out there and make it great. Please continue to support me, support Kimmy. And Kimmy, thank you, girl.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. God bless everybody. Have a great evening. I'll talk to you soon.